So hi everyone, my name is Joe,
I'm Tyler.
and in today's episode, we talk about whether we should get help. We've been absent for for a while. My apologies. I think a lot has happened. I'm not sure, but I don't know if I share with you, but my whole family was sick. Like I don't know who it started from, but something like my younger one, then my elder one, then my wife, then me, then I went back to my wife, then I went back to my older one.
Wow, so you just kept bouncing around?
Yeah, it's terrible. I'm pretty sure it's two different strains, but the bottom line is all of us just got sick.
Yeah.
And then the worst thing is last week I had a very important, how I turn like that? I had a very important event. Was it last week or last week? And then sorry.
You didn't manage to attend.
Oh no, so I keep telling myself, because I think sometimes when things get a bit like all these important events and stuff at work, right? Then I tend to get a bit stressed up, and then
Okay.
I believe that when I get stressed up, my immune system drops, and then I fall ill very easily. So I told myself, don't get stressed, don't get sick. But just a few days before, I just got sick. But then the thing is, once I had the small symptoms, I straight went to see a doctor and make sure that I get enough rest, so that the big event comes,
You managed?
yeah, I mean I felt ill, but
you
luckily
managed.
I survived through the event, because we had some overseas visitors for 2 days, and I was hosting them.
Right.
Yeah, so if I get sick, I don't know how that would have went, but luckily everything was good. So like, so taking care of family and work and all, then I think like the past 2 weeks I didn't really have time to
Spare.
to do this podcast. So my apologies.
It's fine because also my end, I think I also shared with you. My kid was sick.
Was it like flu cough for this? Because mine had that,
No,
like viral infection.
Everything is viral with kids, right? I mean, like, sorry to say, but it's getting a bit. I mean, because I'm non-medical, maybe my wife understands this very well.
Yeah.
Because every time I go to see a doctor, it's a viral infection. The kid has to find it out. I was like, can't you all do something?
Yeah.
I mean, this viral thing is never ending, but I mean, nothing can be done.
Yeah.
So, no, she had hand, foot, mouth. Round 2.
Oh dear.
2 to 3 months ago, she had her first round. So that time, she didn't have any sports. Actually, very little sports. So she wasn't itchy or was scratching or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But she had fever. Her fever was quite bad then. This time round, she had spots,
Oh, okay.
but no fever.
Ah.
So, yeah. So, like what you mentioned, taking care of kids, right? Wow. Actually, I'm a bit split on this, to be honest. I think my wife thinks that it's, if I remember correctly, I think she feels that it's easier to take care of a kid when they don't have fever. Which I think the part of me agrees, and I understand that.
Okay.
But what is draining, man? Especially my kids now is 20 months old.
Yeah.
She's running around the house, and like the moment. Okay, so she does this thing where she go from the living room to the kitchen, and because mine is open concept, so it's a clear path. But she does this non-stop. So the moment she goes back to the living room, I sit down. The moment I sit down, she stands up and goes to the kitchen. And there are certain times that I'm so lazy that the times that I don't go to the kitchen with her are the times that she decides to sit there for a while. Then when I get up to go to her,
Why must you accompany her?
because she tends to like to pull at my laundry basket. You know, my laundry basket is quite tall.
Ah.
So sometimes when she pulls it might collapse on her. And my dustbin also quite tall.
Then they collect and let her learn a lesson.
I would like that, to be honest, but she was not feeling well, so I wanted her to get well and go back to school.
Yeah.
I don't want any more injuries, and then you got to stay home.
So sending them to school is a good thing, right? Because then
Yes.
we get our rest.
Yeah, I think there is a certain break. So
Yeah.
Anyway, before I jump into what I wanted to say was that, so this time around she had sports, but she had no fever.
Yeah.
So as school requirements, it's either the sports are dried up or you have a doctor's letter to say they're okay to come back to school.
Oh yeah.
We did not see a doctor because there was no fever. I don't want to bring her in for sports for the doctor to tell me, yeah, hand foot mouth, because we know it's hand foot mouth.
Yeah.
So we didn't see, so we just let the time. Anyway, her blisters were drying up already, so
I see.
we just sent her in 1 week after. One thing which I think I mentioned, I don't know whether I mentioned in this podcast or I told my friend who's going to be a father soon, was this thing that me and my wife call reset.
Okay.
And I told my friend was, it's very critical to learn how to reset / recover very quickly. I think what I mean by that is, okay, so for me personally, when she was not feeling well, because she's on a one nap basis now, means that her nap is around 12 or 1 o'clock.
Okay.
And then she'll nap maybe 2 hours, and then the next one will be the night sleep already.
Yep.
Right? So when she's not feeling well at home, I have to take care. So that means that when the moment she wakes up to the moment she sleeps, you have to be there lah. You don't have to be engaging all the time, but you have to be there.
Yeah.
Right? And it's a bit draining, to be honest.
Yes. Very draining.
Right? And this is where I want to say about recovery. So on the normal day-to-day at work, we only see her maybe 2-3 hours a day.
Yeah.
Because it's the evening.
Yeah.
Right? In the morning, maybe an hour, prep her for school, and then she goes off.
Yeah.
Right? Other than that, nothing much. So you have technically the night to recover.
Yes.
Reset yourself, get ready for the next day, you know, to what. But when, like, weekends are okay because you have 5 days of resetting really.
Yeah.
Right? But if it's back to back, like my kid is not feeling well that period of time, oh, it's so draining because I only had the nap time which lasted maybe an hour.
Yeah.
So I need to try and settle my own meals, have to sort of calm down, recover a bit before I need to go the round 2 of taking care of her till she sleeps at night.
Yeah.
So I think that was what I was trying to say about resetting or recovering, because you know they always say like kids sometimes they get overstimulated or overwhelmed or something like that.
Yeah.
I think sometimes the parents do as well.
Okay.
Kids screaming their heads off and just
Okay.
want to calm down. Sometimes I want to listen to music, sometimes I don't want to.
Yeah. Also, I totally understand. I mean,
Listening to the same song 20,000 times.
Yeah. So parents will probably understand what we are talking about. It's also the same reason why sometimes I dread long weekends.
Oh, okay. So long weekends not so bad for me. Reason being, I go back to JV.
So you get some help there.
Yes, I dump my kid with my because my daughter loves my father. Wow,
Okay.
holy crap, she loves my father.
Okay.
So we have been trying to teach her the naming, like Ama,
Yeah.
Agong, like whatever it is. So my father is the one. Okay, so because my parents live in Malaysia, right?
Yes.
Time to time we'll do a video call. If I'm not going back to JB on, then I will do a video call so that my parents can see her and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So at first I thought she just mistaken the iPad as Ye Ye. Because she always point at the iPad and go Ye Ye.
I see.
And I was wrong, because the latest trip that I was back in JB, she was every 10 seconds that she's away from my father, she'll start calling out.
Oh, she loves him so much.
Yeah, she loves him so much. My father is on the same level as my wife, I think, or maybe slightly below. But with the amount of time that my daughter sees my father,
Yeah.
and then you bump it up to the same amount as my wife, I don't think my wife can compete my father. And I don't even know why, because like you don't see him that often.
Yeah.
And it's within that day or two that you spend time with him. Why are you so attracted? But anyway,
Absence make the heart fond.
but but doesn't like my mother.
Okay.
So he's just very curious as to what's going on.
Your father plays with her a lot lah.
They both do.
Your mom also.
Yeah, not as much as my father, to be honest, because my daughter wants my father. Yeah.
Or is it because your father engages in some highly stimulating
Also no.
games?
Also no.
Also no. Okay, then I don't know.
Or just not that I know of when I'm there.
But the bottom line is, whenever you bring them back, you get recharged.
Yes.
Okay.
Like what time I mean, it's not that I go off and sleep or I go off and do my own things. I can be sitting there looking at them.
Yeah.
Just that I'm not doing much.
Yeah.
You know, my mind is not like engaged
Yeah,
to. I need to change my part. I need to watch out whether this joker is going to fall. You know?
Yes.
Because I
Yes.
got somebody else watching, so I can just sit there and stone for a while sometimes.
Yeah.
Right.
So I totally agree. Like, sometimes when I go back to Malaysia, right? So my mother-in-law and their family would be so fascinated with the kids, they'll keep playing the kids, right?
Yeah.
I'm so happy.
Yes.
I mean, the fact that I can just sit down there, do nothing, right?
Yeah.
Now, this is already a bonus for me.
Yes.
But then of course I don't go back as often as you nowadays. So
I think yours is a bit tougher, but yeah.
yeah, but actually that is a good point that you raised up. But getting help for kids is so useful for us as
Yes.
parents, right? But then you and I in Singapore, we both don't have help.
They'll have.
And-
Okay. I mean, technically I got my mother-in-law, but we only get her help when she's sick and we cannot handle her.
Okay. So
But
why don't you? I mean, if we know that we are drained,
Okay.
it's eating in our own personal life, our work is affected, we get stressed out, not enough sleep. Why don't you get help?
I have one. Okay, so my floor, my house here, I think has three other families that has kids, right? Out of the three, two of them have helpers.
Okay.
The other one, because it's relatively less than a year old, I think. Oh no, a year old already. No,
Yeah.
less than a year old.
Yeah.
Right? Doesn't have kids, but the parents, both sides of parents are very helpful. So they didn't send the kid to school, but the arrangement is that the parents will either take care at their house or at their house, at their parents' house,
Yeah.
or at the neighbor's house, my
Yeah.
neighbor's house.
Yeah.
So that means sometimes the parents come over, sometimes my neighbor will send them over.
So that's considered help as well, right?
That's very helpful,
Yeah.
to be honest. And it's both sides. That
Yeah.
means both the paternal and maternal parents will take turns to take care of the.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, which is good because technically you can spend time with your grandparents. Grandparents also can spend time with the kid.
Yeah.
It's all well and good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
My concern comes with the helper.
Okay.
So the other two families, one of them I won't say much because the kids are quite old.
Yeah.
7 years old, 6
Yeah.
years old.
Yeah.
The helper is just there to do housework and really keep the house running in a sense,
Okay.
right? The other one is the one that is something that I would like to sort of bring up and we can have a discussion on that. So the question that I have is, if you have a helper, what does the helper's role do?
It can be. I mean, it depends on where you draw the line, right?
Yeah.
It can be directly taking care of the baby for you.
Okay.
Or just have to do the household chores so that at least you don't have to be bothered with the household stuff.
Okay, so I mean personally for you, which is your choice?
My
Which
choice
will you
is,
choose?
My choice is no helper. Also, I mean, okay, if I really have to engage a helper, it's more of the latter lah. Meaning, I'll probably just engage a helper to help me settle the house stuff. So, like things like washing of the milk bottles,
yes.
cleaning the floor,
Right.
folding the clothing, getting the laundry.
General household chores lah.
Yeah, I think that's more than sufficient because I mean today, right, my entire day's routine, I think a good 20% or 30% is doing all these things.
Right.
So if let's say the helper can help me do that, I think that's more than good enough for me.
Right. But
But I'll share my thoughts on why I'm not getting a helper. Anyway, yeah.
So I agree with you, and to be honest, if I were to draw a line, I think that's where I'll draw the line as well. Because the whole point of it is I would like to spend some quality time with my kids.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole point you help me clear the so-called not so important items.
Yeah.
I'll do the kids lah.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that I won't get the helper to help me with the kids stuff as well. But I think like the main focus of the helper would be mainly the household chores.
Yeah.
Right. Why I bring this up was because I've seen the other way around. So So I've seen that the helper outside, not my neighbor, outside, shopping malls or whatever, the helper is the one carrying the kids, the helper is the one carrying the diaper bag, the helper is the one pushing the stroller, whereas the parents are just walking free.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that that's wrong, I just don't agree with it.
Yeah, okay.
Because I think that, the whole point of the helper is take the load off, or maybe because, the whole point for me was quality time with the kids. So if you're going to get a helper to just take care of the kid, then what? What your...
Yeah, but I've seen a lot of that. So it becomes like the kid is closer to the helper than is to their own parents.
Yes. So that is what happened to my neighbor.
Okay.
So my neighbor, the kid hangs out like nearly 24/7 with the helper.
Okay.
And the helper will actually, because the neighborhood has a few helpers, quite a number of helpers actually,
Yeah.
they will always gather.
Yeah.
And all of them so happen to have kids. The family has kids. So they will bring all these kids down together, and all these form like a informal school in a sense.
Yeah.
So they'll gather and play at the playground, whereas the helpers will meet each other and talk to each other.
Yeah.
So, which I think is good.
Yeah.
But then come the point where I saw that the helper was bringing the kid out with the parents, but the parents split ways. So then the parents will just go and eat dinner by themselves.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I've seen a lot of this.
So then questions to like, why, like, not much time. But then again, there may be factors that I don't see.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is. So be it.
So I saw a lot of this at indoor playgrounds.
Oh yeah.
The helpers will go in with the kids, and then the parents will go out and have fun. So many times I've seen. But anyway, yeah.
So to each is his own. I just personally felt that
so
maybe it should be helpful.
So if you get a helper, you also do like what I did to help with the chores
Yeah, right? Most likely. But I only will consider a helper if I have a second one.
Why? Now you're already drained.
I think now it's not so bad. I think like what my wife put it, which is quite correct, which is now we are taking care of one, me and my wife.
Yeah.
Right. So we can take turns.
Yeah.
You want to take a break, we can take turns. You want to rest, I'll take care of it. So there are times like in the evening, right? Either I'm doing the washing up of the plates or the dishes or whatever it is, the bottom parts or whatever, and my wife is taking care of like attending to the kid. Okay. Either way, or it's the other way around. So it's just see what flows. So I think as of right now, because we are still taking turns, it's not to the point of exhaustion yet.
Okay.
But I think when it comes to a second one, then I think then we will then start to consider.
Okay.
But the thing about helper, I think one of the things that both of us, funny thing is because I grew up with a helper.
Oh, is it? You grew up with a helper?
To a certain extent.
Okay.
Because in Malaysia, the helpers run away like free.
Okay.
I didn't tell you. I don't know whether I told you. Sorry. So there's this one day. Sidetracked from all the thing, right? There's this one day that I came home from school, and it was so happened that it was a string of runaways.
Okay.
Like 2 or 3 ran away already. So and they ran away within like a month or 2.
Okay.
So sometimes I go home, and then I ring the doorbell because sometimes the helper is supposed to help me open the gate, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't have the remote gate. I think my parents thought like, hey, you have a helper at home, you don't need to bring house keys.
Yeah.
In case you lose them,
Yeah.
So I don't usually So by the time I get home, I think that time I was so jaded or so mentally prepared already. I ring the doorbell 3 times, no answer, no movement, no whatsoever. The whole house was dark. And I'm like, you know what? Most likely ran away already. Right? So I had to break into my own house.
Okay.
So I had to climb the gate. I didn't remember my old house, right? I had to climb the gate, the big gate. Luckily, the wooden door was closed, but not locked. So I could open the wooden door, and then the metal gate, I could squeeze through.
Oh, you could squeeze through?
I was still that young and small.
Serious?
I squeezed through. The first thing I called my mom. I said the maid's no more here, and I'm home. Because house line.
Okay.
Home line.
Yeah.
So then she's like, okay. I just went about.
Did she ask you how do you get in?
Oh, she didn't, Actually, now you think
really?
about it, she only asked me when I got home. When they got home. Okay, then they were like, wait, how do you get in then? I break into the window. So
that's like a major security breach.
Yeah, but I think so. Growing up as a helper, I don't know whether that changes the perspective a bit, but I think one of the concerns that we have is that whether we will be actually comfortable with having technically a stranger in your house.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I do not know whether that's a consideration, but I think you can share why. Because to be honest, I think that if anybody would need a helper in the house, you fit the bill quite well.
Okay, wait, but then so your bottom line is you will not get a helper now
I don't know
because you you can still manage.
Yes, for now.
But then if let's say you do get a second one, you will consider lah. The chances will be high lah.
Higher.
Higher. Okay.
I would say higher.
Okay, so my situation could be quite different from yours. So my thinking is I'll never get a helper. I'll never get a helper.
Okay.
But recently,
okay.
somehow my situation changes, then you're forced to adapt.
Yes.
Recently, I was having second thoughts, but as of now, I still will never get a helper. for good reasons. I mean, for a lot of reasons lah. Okay, so first of all is of course the stranger thing that you mentioned.
Yeah. Okay.
I have I've never grown up with a stranger before.
Right.
Because I never had a helper in my house before.
Okay.
So I don't know how that feels. It just feels weird for me to have a stranger in my house.
Right.
So I don't know whether I can overcome that. Of course, if the situation changes and I need to, I think I can adapt.
Right.
But I'll likely, I already talked to my wife about this. If that really happens, I'll make sure that I get one room where I can have my own time, my own privacy, and I'll make sure that the helper doesn't come in. So I can, at least I have a space to go to when I feel like, hey, my privacy is
I understand.
Right? But then, there are also other aspects. Like, of course, I don't know how much I can trust the helper. Right? You say your helper run away, right?
But that's Malaysia.
Singapore and Malaysia, we hire the same group of helpers.
But Singapore, where you run to?
I heard of people running away. My colleague's helper just ran away.
Oh, serious?
Yeah, but that's because long story, but anyway, that's
So
I'm also afraid. I don't know how much I can trust them. I'm also afraid that they might do something to our kids.
Yeah.
Because you know how sometimes kids can really get on your nerves, and because they're our own children, most likely we will not abuse them. Most likely. But then you can't say the same for a stranger, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but of course, to be fair, I've also seen very nice helpers who are so close to the kids. But most of the time, it's exactly what I said, because the helper has been taking care of the kid more than the parents.
Yeah.
So they have grown that relationship.
Yeah.
These are some of the more major reasons. I also think that of course, I don't think I'll be like that, but I've seen a lot of employers abusing their helper. And I feel that helpers are also people. They are here because they need a job. They're not coming here because they like to be a helper, right?
Yeah.
So I also feel that it's actually quite unfair to them. Given, especially if let's say they meet a very unreasonable employer. I don't think I'm like that. But I never know, right?
You never know until you're in that position.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
So, for these few reasons, I am not so comfortable getting a helper. But like I said, if I do, I think I will. And I've actually spoken to a few friends who have helpers, and I've voiced out some of my concerns. They also sort of share their thoughts on, maybe you can try this, maybe you can try that. Like, for example, how do you make sure that you get a good helper, right?
Yeah.
They got share things like, they always have this interview process. What are the kind of questions you can ask during the interview process?
Oh, okay. You interview?
Yes, you interview the
I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah. And then typically they also send the helper's profile, so you more or less can know what kind of helper you're getting.
Right.
It can also go by age, number of experience, years of experience.
Right.
Some will argue that more years of experience is good, but some will argue that if let's say no years of experience, then you technically can mold them. Yeah, which I don't know whether it's the correct thinking, but anyway, that's what some of them said.
Right. I understand.
So there are actually ways to try and mitigate some of this problem.
Right.
The challenge is, I feel that there's still quite a bit of risk involved. So to me, this is not a risk that I want to take, especially because if I have to leave my helper alone at home, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know think about it.
Oh, okay. So maybe I can check. And this is not this is actually a flip side of what we are sort of position that we're in. So my wife previously, I think because of her grandfather was not in the best of shape, so they wanted to get help at home. Because the grandmother was also staying, so they wanted the helper to come and help with the house chores.
Yeah.
So that the grandmother can take care of the grandfather. The helper didn't want to work.
Oh, really?
I think what was cited, which we will never know whether it's a true reason, was there was nothing to do.
Oh.
Because literally, cooking is still done by the grandmother.
Okay.
So you literally just sweep and mop the house.
Yeah.
You wipe the surfaces.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're doing it every day, to be honest, there's nothing much to wipe lah, or nothing much to sweep and mop lah.
Okay.
So I think a few months went by, and then the helper left.
As in left because the family don't need?
No, she doesn't want to.
Oh.
Because she said there's nothing to do.
Okay.
But they were suspecting whether it's homesick or not, because she's very young.
I see. But if it's me, I'll be happy. There's nothing to do and then I earn money.
I think I don't know. That's why they were suspecting whether it's homesick.
I see.
But like I said, that was a sidetrack story lah. But
okay.
I think like for helpers, there's a good and a bad. I think you just need to draw the line.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So before I go there, I wanted to ask just now before I forget. What would need to happen for you to say, you know what, let's just get help?
So okay, I say recently I keep getting sick and stuff, right?
Yes.
I'm thinking it's also because I'm not getting enough sleep. So that is one of the reasons why I'm starting to consider, because it's really tiring me, very draining. Say for example today, right?
Yeah.
My daily routine, right? I wake up about 5+, and then I start to prepare my kids' stuff for school.
You wake up earlier than me, but okay.
Of course. Anyway, so I prepare, and then about 6+, then I start to wake my kids up, feed milk, change clothing, change diaper. And then I think for those who are not parents, you think that this is a routine, right? But it's never a routine, because sometimes the baby will puke.
Yeah, you
then
know.
You have to change the bed sheet, clean the mattress. Or sometimes the baby, just when you're about to go out, the baby will shit.
Yes.
And then for some reason, sometimes the shit will just burst out of the diaper.
Yes.
A lot of things can happen unplanned.
Yes.
So anyway, then I'll leave home at about 7+, 7:30 to 8 o'clock, depending.
Okay.
And then go to send to school, then go to work. Then after work, I have to pick them up, go for dinner, and by the time I reach home is maybe 8+, 9.
Right.
And then I have to shower them some more.
Yeah.
And then must unpack their bag, go and wash the clothes.
Prep for the next day school bag.
Yeah, things like that, everything. So by the time everything is more or less done, 10+, and then we have time to start to make them sleep. And then by the time maybe they don't want to sleep and all, then you sleep at 11+. If you need to have me time, it's after 11. Typically, I just shag out. So and then at night you don't get the 100% peaceful sleep.
True.
So even my elder one now,
Why?
she still wakes up at night.
Serious?
She does a lot of pattern.
As in like because of nightmares, or just cannot sleep or?
Like because my elder one likes to shove her hand underneath something to get some warmth, I think.
Okay.
So and then she sleeps with us. So she likes to shove her hand under us. And then sometimes right, the fingernails right, and then just scratch. Wow! Just wake up, then you cannot sleep already.
Yeah.
Or sometimes to make for the nightmare lah.
Yeah.
And there was once she woke up and she said she wanted to eat snacks. Whatever, I slapped her. I never slapped her lah. I just say go and sleep and all. No, but I haven't had a good 7 hours of sleep in a long time. Don't talk about the younger one. The younger one is even worse.
Young one still wakes up.
Sometimes now. But technically she can go to sleep. But for example, when she's sick, right?
Yeah.
She'll wake up when she cannot breathe, like because of the
Oh, wow, yeah, understand.
yeah. Or sometimes she'll cough until she wake up.
Yeah.
Then she'll just keep crying because I think she's uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then so whenever she's sick, wow, it's terrible for us.
yeah.
So like lack of sleep and stuff like that, that could be one of the reasons why I want to get a helper.
So since you talk about sleep, so wait, sorry, before I go to sleep, how bad does the sleep need to get before you say, you know what, let's just get a helper?
So like it's affecting our health now.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm actually now trying to see what are some of the things that I can do to get my health back in shape. Right? It's only the health part. So
Right. So if it gets too bad,
yeah, if it gets too
you
bad,
fall sick too regularly,
yeah, such that it's affecting our life,
then okay.
then that's probably where I'll get a helper. But I don't know, there could be other things that I want to consider first before I get a helper. So as you can see how not pro helper I am. Yeah. So but I have other people who come and persuade me lah. So I've seen a lot of people who also don't want to get a helper,
Mm-hmm.
and then when they change their mind, they say it's God sent. Not only because of the baby part or taking on the household chore part. No, I remember my cousin-in-law. So my cousin is the mother lah. My cousin-in-law is not from Singapore. He's from England.
Oh,
so
okay.
it's English. So his lifestyle is very different from Singaporean.
Yes, yeah.
So he was sharing his life and stuff like that. But I'll just cut the story short. So he told me because he doesn't like helper. He wasn't used to having a helper.
Okay.
So he told me after he changed his mind, he got a helper. And then one day he woke up and there was breakfast on the table.
What?
And then he was like, "Wow, God, thank you! I made the right choice."
Oh, breakfast on the table.
Exactly, you don't have to prepare your own breakfast. So anyway, yeah. So I've seen a lot of cases where after they change their mind. So I told my wife lah. I mean, it's definitely not going to be an impossible thing, but it's just that if it really does happen, then there'll be some changes that I need to make to my lifestyle lah.
Yeah, so I think like there are certain times in this parenting situation,
Yeah,
where we always try to do our best, right?
yeah,
Whatever that we feel is the best. Like let's say, we feel that like sending our kids to class is maybe the best for them, or we are doing a lot of things that sort of takes a lot out of us. I won't say a lot lah, but takes out of us lah. As in like drains us and whatnot. But we do it so that they have okay. So let's say example, TV time, right? Screen time.
yeah,
So some parents are very adamant, no screen time,
yeah,
right? To 2 years old, whatever it is, because that's the national guideline, right?
Okay.
No screen time, right? And then I think like me and my wife, we were like, I think when she was still maybe 2-3 months old, we said, okay, no screen time. Then I think came around her first birthday. Then I was thinking, you know what? I think like maybe birthday present, you go watch a bit of TV lah.
Well, that's her birthday present.
Yeah.
And my girl has been enjoying birthday the whole year.
No. I mean, like from then on, she started.
Okay.
But she watches. Okay, so my kid only watches TV weekends,
Okay.
and we limit it to an hour now.
Okay.
Apparently, polyclinic can't tell me only half an hour. I was like, half an hour, you try lah.
Yeah.
Right. But anyway, an hour now. Fortunately, she doesn't fight us. So when you switch off the TV, she's fine. Everything is okay.
That's good.
Yeah. So we watch a bit more TV when she is sick. Because she's uncomfortable, she doesn't want to eat, the TV helps.
Yeah.
Then makes her eat as well.
Yeah.
So, but I think coming back to the point that I was trying to make was that I think when we first introduced TV, right, I think the thought that came to my mind was, do we really try so hard? Why did we suffer so much when this option was there?
Oh,
You get what I mean? Then when you just enable this option,
Yeah.
things seems fine, no major changes, everything seems to be okay.
Yeah.
So I think like there are certain times where I look at it and we say that, your concerns with getting a helper, whether you actually when you get a helper, you'll be like, why the hell did I suffer all those times for?
Yeah.
Like all those things that I was concerned about, maybe it was not that big an impact.
Yes.
So I don't know whether you'll be in the same category, but I don't know. If you do get a helper, then let me know.
Okay, but an alternative to helper is to get a relative to help, right? Like
Yes.
saying,
Yes,
the
yes.
neighbors and all.
Yeah.
Would you consider? Like, okay, so you were saying that your mother-in-law helps once in a while.
When she's not feeling well. As in when my daughter's not feeling well.
Why not every time?
We originally thought that having her exposure in school would be a good experience. That means that she gets exposed to needing to engage with friends.
Of course.
And other people. Hopefully she learns some form of social skills.
Okay.
So that was the main reason why we sent her to school. That's why we didn't want to engage my mother-in-law to sort of take care. But also
so there was no need
there was no,
because you sent her to school.
Yeah.
Okay.
So but then the thing is that I don't know whether we actually have, because the I think both of us agreed, as in my wife and I both agreed immediately, was that okay, it's what's it we are going to send to school.
Yeah.
So there was no question about it. We didn't even think about whether we need to like get help and whatnot. My neighbor is doing the 18 months thing, so the first 18 months you take care at home.
Yeah.
Only after 18 months at playgroup level you send to school.
Okay.
I think they're worried about being sick and everything.
Okay.
So
even sending you to school,
Uh-huh.
if let's say you have your grandparents or or rather your parents and their grandparents, they can help you to send to school. You don't even need to step out of the house. I mean, you can go to work anytime you want.
that's what my dad just mentioned over the
Like he offered to come and
No. He was making a statement. I don't know whether it's in a positive light or negative light, but
Okay.
he was making a statement saying like, oh, my ex-colleague, he retired already. You know what he's doing now? He's sending his granddaughter to school. Then I was like, okay, that was fine, right? The granddaughter is secondary school already. Then I was like, okay. So is that a good thing or bad thing now? I don't understand, because technically your grandparents have something to do then. You know, you are not sitting at home not doing anything. You get to spend time with your grandkid as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, your grandkid needs to learn that this is not a given. Not everybody has it. You don't take this for granted.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think it's fine. But then the way he say, honestly, I don't know whether it's positive or negative.
So you didn't understand his statement?
I didn't understand that.
Okay.
So to the point I told him like, you want to do it next time for her? You want? I guess okay.
Okay, so I don't know whether this is right or wrong. Of course, different people, different perspectives. Of course, getting a parents to help, which is their grandparents,
Yes.
right, is good because then they get help. But then I feel some parents over leverage.
Oh yes, I agree.
They abuse their own parents to take care of their kids.
I agree.
I know of a. Actually, I shouldn't be saying this, but okay. But by the way, I think it stops there. I shouldn't cite examples.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, but I've heard a few, and I know that there is actually sometimes it's actually abused. It's really truly abused.
Yeah, and I feel that the grandparents are so poor thing. It's like they're retired. They should be enjoying their lives, but then they're actually slogging again. Of course, if the kids' parents give the grandparents some allowance, okay, so maybe not so bad. But some don't even give money.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're not earning money. They're still spending money on their grandchildren. Of course, they probably enjoy the process because it's their own grandchildren. But sometimes I feel it's a bit too much. Parents should know, like, this is a privilege. Yeah, exactly. Where to draw the line, and don't abuse that.
To be honest, right, I can only imagine how tiring it is for our parents, which is the grandparents. Yeah, I mean, I also tired already one day. What more you know?
Exactly.
And then my dad's nearly 70. He's 70 next year. So like he's still got to carry you up. So he'll bend down for you.
Yeah. And you know what's the worst?
Some
and I think, I mean, this you probably will agree with me. The grandparents' way of parenting is very different from ours.
Yes.
And it's going to be very different from our kids also as well.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. So sometimes these parents
clash.
Yeah. But then when they ask their grandparents to help take care of the grandchildren, right, they will enforce their way.
Oh, I've seen this.
And then I feel that the grandparents are living in a very
controlled.
Yeah.
Okay. So this one, right? Before I had my kid, my mother did tell me this. She said that if you ever have kids, right? So she was split about this, but I don't know. Ultimately, I don't know what it came down to. But at first, it was you need to pay me money if you want me to take care of your kid.
Okay.
Because I'm doing you something,
Okay.
right? That's okay, sure. Then after that, I think she heard from, whatever lah, don't know from where. Then she said like, no, I'm not going to accept your money. Because if I accept your money means I'm working for you. Means I need to listen to whatever you say.
Yes.
Don't want, I want to do it my way.
Okay.
So she said I don't accept money. But anyway, she's not taking care, she's just playing with the kids nowadays lah, so doesn't matter. But I agree with you, some people, I think I can understand that different parenting styles, and then you want to enforce your own and so on and so forth. I can understand it, I do, but I agree with you where you need to learn how to draw the line. People are doing you a favor.
Yeah.
It's not
It's not a given.
it's not a given. You just appreciate what you can get, because honestly, so many other people out there are suffering.
Yeah.
Just as bad or even worse. You will never know.
Yeah.
So
Anyway, I think everybody has their own ways of managing this. As long as the family is happy, there's harmony. I guess whatever rocks your boat, right? So
harmony.
So for me now, no helper yet. I'll try and survive through. Once my second one grows up to be maybe 4 or 5 years old, I think things will be better.
If she has the same character as the first one, for the second one is like mine, wow, I cannot imagine.
Let's see how that goes.
It's just the worst. Not the worst, but it's
Yeah.
tiring.
Alrighty.
Alright, thank you.
Thank you.